Hey, what is going on, everybody? I'm Noah from TechnoBuffalo.com, and this is my Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1 limited edition Google I/O 2011 edition tablet. I've had it for almost 2 days now, and really have had about a day to play with it because I was at Google I/O. I got it at I/O 2 days ago, did an unboxing, and then I've had it for a couple days, etc., etc. But I'll tell you what, hardware-wise, this thing is killer. Software-wise, it's really pretty good. It's got some hiccups, and then obviously there's a whole thing of what platform you want to use. But hardware-wise, this thing is pretty sweet. Let's take a little more of an in-depth look. 48 hours with the Galaxy Tab 10.1. Ooh, Androids. Alright, so right off the bat, I'll tell you that John is sending up our Asus Transformer, our ePad Transformer, eTransformer? ePad Transformer review unit, so I can check it out and go head-to-head, because as of now, the Tab 10.1 may be my favorite Android tablet to date, and John is really high on the Transformer, so I am excited to get my hands on that one. I haven't yet tried it myself and check it out. But what I really like about the Tab, which is also what I really like about my other favorite Android tablet, the LG G Slate for T-Mobile, or Optimus Pad, is the hardware, the form factor. This thing is incredibly thin, incredibly lightweight. It's about 1/3 of an inch thick. It weighs 1.3 pounds, I believe. And it's just my criticisms about the Motorola Zoom, software aside, but hardware-wise, my two big criticisms were the screen was kind of washed out, and it was bulky, it was heavy, it was kind of thick and kind of heavy, and just for one-handed use, there was no way it was going to happen for me. But this thing is not a problem to hold one-handed. And what was really cool, actually, was at the show, at Google I/O, people got these on the first day after the opening keynote, and there was a long line to wait in, and then everybody got one for free. And I saw lots of people walking around the rest of that day, and especially on day 2, using this with the official app from the show to figure out where to go, what sessions were happening when, where they were located, all that kind of stuff. So really very cool. One of the other things that when I say very cool, I mean twofold. I mean, very cool that they were able to use that instead of, having a whole bunch of paper printed up. It's cool, especially at a tech conference, to see people using the tech instead of, old tech like paper that's not reusable. But then the second thing is just that people were walking around with them because it's so lightweight and easy enough to hold. I'm still going to say that I think the widescreen form factor is superior for a tablet to the route that iPad went with the 4:3 aspect ratio. And look, to everybody out there who's already saying, why are you comparing this to iPad? Why do you have to talk about Apple all the time? It's because it's the market leader. This is not getting into, which is better right now. It's just that's the market leader. The other thing, and I'm just going to mention this straight up because it's obvious, it's not digging at Samsung, it's not digging at Android or Google. It's just saying this straight up. Everybody who's seen this, who is not a geek, so that's about 5 people so far, has said, oh, is that your iPad? Because it looks like an iPad. It really does. I mean, the form factor is different. And like I said, that's a big plus for me, the widescreen form factor. But, the black bezel with the chrome band around it, I mean, it's very iPad looking. Granted, any tablet is going to look like any other tablet to an extent, but if you look even at the zoom, the zoom looks a little bit different. So definitely there is something to the Samsung's recent hardware designs, being reminiscent of some of Apple's. Anyway, that being said, to get off of that train, let's load up some music in the background here. This is the new music beta by Google, which works very well. We'll do a separate hands-on video on that one. No, I don't want to hear that song. I want to hear this song. There we go. But this works on Android devices. It works on the web, and it works very well streaming your music from the cloud. Rotate that into portrait mode. So we'll get to a separate video on that. But anyway, to get back to the Tab 10.1, the fact that it's lightweight enough and you can use it one-handed. You can hold it, the long way. We'll have to back the camera up here so you can get a better view of this. But you can hold it the long way, no problem, because it's light enough weight, and then it's narrow enough with the widescreen form factor that you can do things on it with one hand. And you can do two-thumbed typing in this mode. We'll stop the music. even though the Isley brothers have much better voices than I do. We'll get back to the home screen there. So if I go into, let's go into the browser, and if I want to type in a URL, it's not a problem at all to go two-handed. You can see there's a custom Samsung keyboard on here, which so far I really like. I actually think it's a minor improvement over the stock Android keyboard, just because things are a little more clearly labeled, the caps lock button, things like that. Just little minor things that I like more than I like the stock Android keyboard. And then obviously, you know, it's Android, so you can install all kinds of stuff on it. We'll go to customizations, widgets, you know, custom keyboard replacements, all that kind of business. So here's TechnoBuffalo in the mobile theme mode. I've had a few crashes. I had the camera crash on me. I actually started this video and then the camera crashed on me. Yeah, for some reason, Android browsers seem to have a problem switching into mobile theme mode with our website. Every time I do a review video, it's like that. I don't know why. One site that always works for me is ESPN's TrueHoop. So let's go there. But it's speedy performance. It's got the dual-core processor inside. It's Wi-Fi only. One thing about this Galaxy Tab, which is a little disappointing, but I understand, it doesn't come with Samsung's new TouchWiz panel for Honeycomb that I saw at Mobile World Congress. The rumors all point to that being unveiled on May 24th at an event Samsung's having in New York City, which everybody and their cousin is betting is going to be the official release of the Galaxy Tab 10.1 on a carrier in the US, etc., etc. So I'm kind of excited because I actually thought that TouchWiz looked pretty good and pretty useful. I'm kind of psyched to see that. But lots of people don't like the TouchWiz or just don't want anything, you know, besides stock Android. So this is Android 3.0.1. Kind of weird they announced 3.1 yesterday and it was available to Motorola Xoom customers, although as Adriana reported, she and John both having problems getting it downloaded to their devices. But then they handed out to developers, you know, this really slick top-of-the-line tablet with only 3.0.1 on it. 3.1 is coming in the coming weeks, apparently, for us. But it's the same screen size as the Xoom, 10.1 inches, 1280 by 800. To me, the screen on the Galaxy Tab is just crisper, brighter, looks nicer than the screen on the Xoom did. The performance is zippy with the dual-core 1 gigahertz processor. It's got 32 gigs of RAM for internal storage. It's got a front-facing camera like we showed in the intro, and then the rear-facing camera. It's a 3 megapixel camera with a flash, and then on the front-facing camera is 2 megapixels. You can see this is just kind of fun that they did this. The limited edition Google I/O, the developers edition, with the cool custom backplate there. Kind of a neat touch. On the side, you've got the stereo speakers actually sound quite good considering how small this device is. And then you've got a 3.5mm headphone jack on the top. It came with earbuds, and then obviously you can, you know, send your music or your audio out to, you know, a better speaker system and so on. It's got a rocker switch for volume. It's got a power lock switch as well. And then again, I'm just pointing out this, you know, interesting that instead of a USB port and a mini HDMI port, Samsung went with a proprietary connector that I'll get the cable here. It is kind of, you know, it is iPad-esque. That's all I'm saying. Apple, not the only company to ever use a proprietary dock connector. So, you know, that being said. But again, just mentioning, interesting they went with a proprietary connector, and then it's modular, hooks up to the AC adapter via USB, or you can take the adapter off and use it for syncing with your computer, obviously. You can see the accelerometer built in. Again, nothing custom as far as Samsung goes, except there's a link to Samsung apps, which in the US, you have to set your language, and from the US doesn't really do much. You know, there are 10 apps here now, and they're all just like these tests. So, not really much going on there. We'll see by the 24th what Samsung has in store for the official launch. But again, so far, really enjoying it. You know, I am not going to get in right now to a whole Android versus other platforms debate, but just to say that as Android tablets go, for kind of a full-on, let's go to YouTube and watch a little video. For a full-on Honeycomb, I don't know what's going on. Let's watch this one. for a full-on honeycomb experience. I mean, this is just great, and a lot of that has to do with the form factor, because all these devices now, you know, the honeycomb devices have the dual-core processor, and the performance is generally pretty good. There are some bugs still, like I said, some crashes, but you know, that happens on any platform. You're going to get some crashes and whatnot. Unfortunately, it's just kind of the way it is these days. But really, they nailed it on the form factor. Haven't had a chance to really run down the battery yet, so I'll have to get back with some battery performance info. And like I said, it's Wi-Fi only. There's no cellular data on this device, so it's just going over Wi-Fi. But so far, so good. Really impressed. I think Samsung nailed it on the hardware. I think the hardware, you know, for my money, is probably the best tablet hardware out there. I mean, performance-wise, you know, you could compare it to, well, whatever you want, but form factor-wise, I prefer this to iPad 2. I prefer it to the other Android tablets that I've used, maybe with the exception of the G Slate, just because I like the smaller size. But this is so lightweight that it, you know, it makes me not care so much about the size, because I can use it one-handed, which for me, you know, I think is really key. So there you go. A quick kind of, I've had it for 2 days, I've used it for about a day, first impression review of the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1 limited edition, Google I/O developer edition, Wi-Fi only, etc., etc. It's a big thumbs up for me so far if you're looking for an Android tablet. And in general, you know, as tablets go, really digging it so far. Excited to use it more for sure. Try out the integrated Google Video Chat. Do some, you know, some e-reading on it, because that's a big thing, you know, with the one-handed use and all that kind of stuff. And also play more with the Google Music Beta. And like I said, I'm going to do a separate hands-on walkthrough of how that works. You can't buy music through it, but if you want somewhere to stick all your music in the cloud and access it from any computer through a web browser or via any Android device, I guess 2.2 and higher, so far it works pretty well, as long as your cellular carrier works well. I'll get into that more in the other video. Until next time, my name's Noah. Thanks again to Google and Samsung for providing these to all the attendees at the show. And like I said, May 24th, big event, Samsung in New York City. Looking like we're going to see the official launch of this thing with the TouchWiz panel, which I at least am kind of interested to see. Some of you out there are like, what are you talking about? TouchWiz, hate it. Others of you are like, TouchWiz, like it. Let's get the camera fired up one more time so I can say goodbye properly. There we go. Till next time, my name's Noah. Much more on TechnoBuffalo.com. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.